Ndongju, it's been a minute. Apparently, I've been speaking for about 3 minutes and I forgot to press play. Okay, anyway, I was talking about personally, there are things that I feel like I would have done different that the people during that time did. But sometimes I come and ask myself, hi guys, my name is Brooke and this is my YouTube channel. So I know it's been a year since I last did a video. So much has been happening, and I think I'm going to tell you a little bit of what has been happening throughout this video. But I'm so glad to be back. I'm so glad to be bringing a new type of content for you people that I hope people are going to love. And stay tuned as I tell you about my recap for 2025. Ndongju, it's been a minute. Apparently, I've been speaking for about 3 minutes and I forgot to press play. Okay, anyway, I was talking about the 12 disciples of Christ, and I was saying among these 12 disciples of Christ, we know that there are disciples who are very close to Jesus, right? And we can name them like John, like Peter, and the Bible refers to one as the most beloved disciple of Jesus. And we have Peter, who was very close to Jesus. In fact, on instances where they mention three disciples, most of the time you find that Peter is among them. And in the end, we come and realize that this is the same Peter who ends up denying Jesus, right? Then we also have another disciple who was known as Judas. And for Judas, we come later and find out that this is the disciple who betrayed Jesus with a kiss. And he was able to get some silver coins, 30 pieces of silver. And hold on to that because you're going to be discussing about that later. But for now, I want to give you a recap of my 2025, what I have learned, and what I'm actually going to be doing more in this new coming year. So every year, when we are starting a year, I normally tell God that I want him to at least to give me something that I'm going to go with throughout the year. And for last year, it was just about obedience. So God was actually telling me that in this year, he wants me to learn more about obedience, that he'll say something and I have to obey. And when it comes with obedience with God, it's never easy because sometimes God can task you with something that you yourself feel is impossible, and you are mandated to obey because through obedience comes faith, that you believe that this thing is going to happen, right? And this is what my year has been the whole of 2025. And sometimes you feel like God tells you to do something, but you don't feel as if you have the capacity. It can be mentally, it can be spiritually. Don't feel like you have that mental capacity to do the thing that God is telling you to do. But generally, my 2025 has been about obedience. I have learned so much to obey, and I think this is the year that I participated in my or sorry, that was the year that I first participated in Hallelujah Challenge, which was it was quite a nice experience. And even as I'm trusting God to participate in the one that is on February, I know it's going to be even better than the one that happened towards the end of the year. Yeah, so for my content, I used to be doing a lot of fashion content, right? And just some very many things, because when I first came on YouTube, I didn't have a specific niche of what I was going to do, so I just do generally about everything. But for this year, I'm going to be doing, since I love fashion and I also love God, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of both. And yeah, so that is what my YouTube channel is going to be about, right? And there is so much that I think God has in store for me this year, because for this year there is a theme, but I think I'm going to be telling you that theme throughout the end of the year, so that at least we can see, was I able to do it or not? But for last year was obedience, and I thank God because if I was to rank myself out of a 10, I'd give myself a 7. Because on most things that God told me to do, I was able to do it. And it's not because you feel strong enough to do it or you feel like you're capable of doing it. But God always has a way of giving us strength on instances that we have decided to obey. So I started by telling you a story about Judas, and the other day I came across a song, and I've also been thinking about this for so long. We normally say that if we were in time during the time of Judas, there's so much. Sorry, during the time of Jesus, there's so much that we would have done right that the people during that time didn't do, right? Is it just me, or you people also feel the same? That there is so much that we would have done different. Personally, there are things that I feel like I would have done different that the people during that time did. But sometimes I come and ask myself, I'm still in a situation whereby I'm in a relationship with Jesus, right? And I still don't find myself doing or performing to my 100%. And this is where the story of Judas came in. I was watching The Chosen, and I was just thinking about the life of Judas. This is a man who was just living an ordinary life before he met Christ. He decided to follow Christ, and he was not just following Christ for the sake of it. He was doing it because there's something that he saw in this man, and that made him among the 12, because there's something that he saw in him, or there's something that he saw in the teachings of Jesus, right? And that is why he decided to follow Christ. And later on in the Bible, we see that this is the man that hands over Jesus, that betrays him, that decides to offer Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. And later on, we find that this is the man that guilt literally eats him up to the point that he ends up committing suicide. And I was thinking about my life as a Christian, because most of the time we find ourselves in a position whereby you have decided to give your life to Christ. You have decided that you're going to leave things behind, just like Judas decided to leave maybe his family and follow Christ. You have decided that you're going to leave everything behind and live a life for God. But then you end up finding yourself in a position that there is a compromise that comes, that you have to compromise something for your salvation. You come and find that you have, like Judas had to sacrifice Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. You find that for us who are trying to have a relationship with God, or for people who are already born again, you find that we try to compromise, and we try to like sacrifice Jesus for some other things. To us, it can be addictions, it can be so very many things. You find that you decide to opt for this way other than going back to Jesus. And after all is said and done, there's that guilt that eats you up, that you decide. For some, they can decide to come back to God, and for some, this guilt keeps them away from God, right? And I was just seated and wondering that sometimes, even in my previous year, there are things that I did not give God my 100%. There are things that I bargained with Him. I'd tell Him, I'd do this because I know that at the end of the day, I am going to come back. And these are some of the things that I was telling God. In this coming year, I want to, if I'm going to give myself 100%, let me be able to do it without even questioning, that I can be able to give myself 100% to you without having to compromise, or without having to do anything wrong for the sake of mercy, right? Yes. And so, as I was speaking about obedience, I decided that since I have been having this strong compulsion to do this on my YouTube channel, that I was going to do it here with you guys, you know. And there's also many things that I thought I wanted to do for my channel during last year, and apparently I was not able to do it because God had other plans. So for now, this channel is going to be a Christian based channel. You're going to meet lots of Christian content over here, because as I said before, this is obedience and we're learning to walk in obedience, right? So there are so many things that I have in store. There's so many people that you will have to meet. But for now, I think for the longest time you're going to be seeing me here. I don't want to promise a specific schedule of posting, but I do trust that I'm going to be posting at least twice a week, right? And during this twice a week, at least come, let us brainstorm on some things that are in the Bible. Let us ask questions, let us be able to have that deep conversation that we have always wanted to have about things concerning Christ and God and religion. Let us all have it here. But for now, I might be posting, let's just say twice a week because of my schedule. But it's all going to be a Christian based channel. So if this is not why you subscribed here, or if this is not one of the reasons why you wanted to be here, then you are free to unsubscribe, because from now on, as much as I'll be doing fashion content, I'm going to incorporate it with who? With God. Yeah. So as I said, I'm going to be incorporating fashion with God, and I just hope and I believe that there's so many things that you're going to be learning, that God is going to use this platform, for the glory of His name. That even as we purpose to be here and to just have these light-hearted conversations, I pray that at the end of the day, there's something else that we can pick. So as for now, I was supposed to have this hair retouched, but I just love it. I just love having it like this, and retouched. Plus, my hair has grown since last year. I think last year it was, let's say, up to here. Right now, it is so long, and I'm so happy. It's the little things that count. Last year has brought so much progress in so many things, so much progress in so many things that I would love to speak to you guys about, but I cannot. But honestly, I have seen the hand of God throughout last year. I have been able to do so many things that I wanted to do, and for the longest time I had not done it. But I thank God, because God is a God of perfect timing. So this is another thing that I picked from last year. So I was telling God that I have known you for 20 plus years. I have known the things that you do. I have known you from experiences with other people. And I was there telling God that I now wanted to know Him from the things that He has done for me. I wanted to be able to relate my name with the things that He has done for me. And when you go to my TikTok page, that is why you see that I have written something about the God of Abraham, Isaac, the God of Jacob, and the God of Brook. Because last year I saw God tending to my needs from a personal level. There are some things that you hear people say that God has done it for them, that God did this for me, God did this for my family, or God did this for somebody I know. And I was telling God, I want to do something that I will attach my name to it. You see how when you hear the God of Abraham, this is the God that gave them a child at an old age. He's literally the person who makes the impossible possible, because this is a woman who was in her 90s. This is a man who was very old and had not yet conceived a child. Can you believe? Like, for 90 years, you have stayed for 90 years without a child. And then, just at the peak of it, you just get a child. Talk about Jacob, talk about Isaac, talk about Elijah. Literally, when you say the God of Elijah, you must finish it by saying, who answers by fire, right? So I was telling God, I also want you to attach my name to something that you have done for me, such that when even other people mention the God of Brook, there is something that you have done that they can see, like these figures in the Bible. And let me tell you, last year was the time or the year that I saw God answering at His perfect time. You see, that time when you have gone through I'll not call it a rough patch, but that time that you have gone through something and you are literally at the edge of it, and that is where you just see God doing his things. That was God for me last year. You know, just when I was just at the end, not even of giving up, when I was just at the end of the time frame I had been set, or the time frame that I had set, that is when you find that God is doing that specific thing that I wanted him to do. And that is what I picked from last year. At least I was able to tell God that he's also the God of Brook, the God who answers at his perfect time. And yeah, there's so many things that I would also want to tell you guys about. There's so many teachings that God has been able to give to me throughout the year, and so many things that has been able to build on our relationship. And this year I'm also hoping even for more. The things that I did last year that I could not even believe it was me doing them. But I thank God for grace. I thank God because I'm a living testimony of the things that God can do. And I'm even much more excited for this year. This year there are so many things that I'm trusting and hoping God for. And I know that since He's the God of Brook, the God who answers at His perfect timing, He'll surely do it for me. Right? So I'm going to be ending my video here. Yes, I'm going to be ending my video here because I feel like I've been speaking for some time. And this is just an intro of what is to come, you know. I say let me prepare you mentally so that as you meet the kind of content that I'm going to be bringing out here, at least you'll have you will know what is up for us, right? And I am really excited for this new phase because I know that, you know, this God does not disappoint. I remember there's a time I was really looking for Christian content that I can find online, especially here on YouTube, from my country, which is Kenya. I was literally looking for for people that can, you know, anytime you can go and listen to their content. And trust you me, they are very few. But I'm trusting God that through this platform, there's so much that He can do. There's so much, very many lives that He can touch, you know, and also touch me as we will be here speaking to one another, because I believe even as you type in the comment section, at least you're ministering to all of us too. So I'm so excited for this year. I'm so excited for the things that God is going to do, because I believe, you know, God cannot tell you to do something if He does not have an intention for it. So I really trust that God is going to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all we can ever think, ask, or imagine, according to the power that is at work in us. And I've really not, I'm still thinking if I should change my channel's name, or if I can leave it like that, or also how I'm going to be doing my intros and my outro. But we are going to see, you know, because with God, with God, things are not, you know, He does not come with confusion, right? If He says something is going to be done like this, that is how it's going to be done. And I know I said I'm going to finish up, but last year was also a year whereby I told you I was trying to bargain with God. God will tell you, do this or don't do this. And you'll be there trying to say that, let me just do it and see. Maybe God is trying to mean it in this way. Maybe God is not saying it like this. You know, for example, let me give an instance. When God tells you to take a cup and drink water from it, and He does not instruct you to go to a tap. So you hold the cup and you say, maybe God is trying to tell me to go and fill water in it. Because how else am I going to drink water if water is not in this cup? But God is literally testing your faith. Drink water from that cup. You know, that this is just an instance I'm giving. And that is what I was doing with God. I was saying, maybe let me just go and fill this cup. Maybe God is telling me to fill this cup, which was not the case. So I'm really yearning to be hearing from Him more, because there's nothing good for me as obeying to what God is saying. So it's going to be a wonderful time here, I promise. And let's just see what God has in store for us. So as for now, I'm going to be ending here, but we will be meeting twice a week for all this type of content that we have in store. So may God bless all of us and may He keep us. Bye. So sit tight as